all things. Now let's talk about involvement.
Okay.
When we say involvement in raising children, do we intentionally create time for it, or do we give whatever time we have to it?
Okay. When it comes to parenting, you really have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate. It's something that should take the whole of your heart. You should put your being to it, or else you won't get it done the way it should be done. So when it comes to involvement, it's intentional. If not, other things will take your attention. So you need to be involved in the life of the child. As a father, as a mother, be involved in the child's education.
Okay.
Now, I'm not talking just about payment or school fees. And all of that. Most times, fathers, they like to just pay the bills and then
leave
leave
everything else to the mother.
In the school environment, most of the people we see in our PTA meetings are women.
Yes.
Fathers are usually not present. Most of them are just few. The number we have there are usually very few. But involvement is beyond money.
Providing.
Yes. You provide your time, your attention, your money, everything. Be involved in their life. When you are doing something that would build them up, call their attention, involve them. As you are involving them, they are learning.
Yes.
Because as you are also involved, that way too, you are involving yourself in their life too.
Yeah.
So that's why in the school environment we give projects. When we give projects, we know that the child will not be able to do this project on their own. So we want
the assistance
of the parents. So that way we are intentional about bringing the child and the parents together.
Wow.
So you have to be involved. That's one of the major reasons why we give projects. Because we also know that some parents are not involved in their children
at all. Especially when you give assignments. Go and do your assignment. I've been done. Go and do it. Go and do it. Don't disturb me. Take your assignments to the dining area and go and do it. We don't want to find out if that child understands what he's doing.
Yeah.
If he gets the sums correctly, and that child may just be, how do I put it now? The child may just be troublesome because that child wants that parent to give him attention.
Exactly. So the parents have to be involved in every aspect. Do a follow-up consistently on your child.
Now let's go to relationship building. I believe that involvement leads to relationship building.
Sure.
You want to take us through that?
Okay. Yes. Involvement leads to relationship building. You know, most times we discover that most children are detached, both emotionally, physically, socially, from their parents. So your involvement in their life is what builds relationship. So, you know, I once met a child who says, I don't think I really like my father. And when I asked him, why don't you like your father? And he said, I see my father play with other children outside, but he doesn't play with me at home.
Wow.
So, and the father doesn't even know about it. That child is very far apart with him. For him, he has a child. He's a father. He has a son. But the son had detached already. So he needs to do a lot of work to bring
the child closer.
I'm not saying that you should not do things for people outside. But when you are doing those things, let your family be involved. Let them see you do it. That way they're also learning. When they become adults, they want to do the same thing for people. Even at their age, they want to reach out to their friends. You see some children come home and they're crying, Mommy, I want to give this to so and so in my class. I want to do this. You know, back then, what I do is I just go to the market and I buy gifts. You know, waiting for any time there is need for my children to give, to someone. So they are involved in everything you do. They are involved in everything you are doing. So you are building relationship with them. You discuss with them. You talk with them. You listen to them. You communicate well with them. You are not waiting until they bring issues to you. You are reaching out also to them. It's only when they have become adults. Now I have one adult in my home. The way I relate with him is different from the way I now relate with those who are still teenagers. Okay? The adults now, he has to probably ask me for advice, or when there is need for me to give him, because all the years we have put in raising him, we are seeing the fruits.
Effects,
exactly. Yeah. So the result, this is the time it will start showing as an adult. He's left alone now to make the right decisions. And he's able to do so. He's able now to relate with people, and people are happy that he relates well with them.
Yeah.
All of these are years of input. So when you do all of this, it will build your relationship with your children. It will build your relationship with your children, and they cannot go away and not remember.
That's very expedient, because when children leave home, they many times when they think back and they remember experiences they've had, if they are unpleasant, they will just say, "Oh, why bother? They didn't care so much about me. Why would they start caring now?" But if they have pleasant and loving memories, they would want to come back and try to relive those experiences.
Sure. That reminds me. One day my son called me and said, "Oh, I have a classmate of mine, and the ASU is going on strike now, but she said she doesn't want to go home."
Wow.
And me, I'm excited. I want to come home. But here somebody is saying, "I don't want to go home. My home is not a place I should go back to."
Wow.
And that he's feeling for her. I said, encourage her to go back home. That's where she belongs.
Yeah.
Just trying to buttress what you said, that some children will not even want to go back home anymore because there's no relationship, there's no care, there's no love there. But when all of these are present from the beginning, there's communication, they are able even to tell you what they want to do, what they don't want to do. When they even make mistakes, they feel free to say it. Why? Because
they are not afraid.
Exactly. Why? Because there's relationship. You didn't build them up with lies. You didn't grow them with lies. You didn't grow them up with greed. You have taught them, values.
When you said that, encourage her to go back home, that is where she belongs. It reminded me of our opening comments when we started the show, that family is indeed where life begins and love never ends. We've heard it from Mrs. Molly that raising children requires 5 factors: a chunk of your time, prayers, discipline, involvement, and of course, relationship building. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll be going on to the game segments. Don't go away.